Welcome to this stateless codecast. This is episode number 57 of our series nerddice.com, where we build a Ruby on Rails application that manages tabletop role-playing. Watch out, Heinz Ketchup, we're about to eclipse you. All right, and in this video, we are continuing down our path of upgrading our Ruby on Rails application from version 7.0 to version 8.0. We are actually running 8.0 currently in our local environment, but we're still on a feature branch, not merged into the main branch. And we still have a little bit of kind of reconciliation and stuff left to do. And in this video, we're going to take a look at the GitHub Actions that we've got. So nerddice.com has its own CI build action. And as of, I want to say Rails 7.1, Rails also kind of gives you a default GitHub action build when you generate a new app. And I have an app that I have been working on with Rails 8 where I'm going to get to the right commit here, with the Agile web development using Ruby on Rails book. I'm working through the beta version of that with Rails 8. And so this application was generated with Rails 8, and we can go into GitHub workflows ci.yml, and this is the file that was, you can see here, initial commit for Depot app with Rails 8.0.0. So this was generated with the app, and I haven't had a need to touch it since. There are a couple of different things to watch out for here. So the nerddice.com app runs on Postgres, and I've got to play around a little bit with the devise keys and stuff like that in my workflow. So we'll take a look at these and we'll compare them, and then we'll start taking a look at what we're going to do kind of to take the best of both worlds and have a CI that's up to date and doing everything we need to do with it. I noted here in the first part here, review the GitHub action with the actions checkout version, and we moved that from version 2 to version 4 back on the very first episode of this kind of mini series within nerddice.com, where we're kind of focusing on an epic of upgrading. And we did that when we upgraded Ruby from 3.2 to 3.4. So we will take a look at our workflow. So this is the main workflow here, and we're going to pull up the Agile Rails version here, and I might need to, I'm actually going to open a new VS Code window. So file, new window, this is the Depot app. Go into ci.yml, hit Control B to hide the sidebar here, and do the same thing in nerddice.com. And we'll just kind of go halvesies on the screen here. It's probably not the most efficient 1337 version way to do this, but it will work. All right, so we can start here. The name, we'll keep the name the same. On push or pull request, or on pull request or push to branches main. I've just got this on push. I'm fine with leaving that on push. So for example, on this series here, I've checked out kind of an extended feature branch, an epic branch, if you will. And I've got several commits that I've been doing here, and I want the CI to run the GitHub action on each of those commits. So we'll leave that the same. Next, we've got, in our case, we've just got a build job and a finish job. In the generated version of the Rails 8 app, we've got the kind of you can see scan Ruby, which uses brakeman, which we don't yet have installed. We'll install it this episode. And then it does an import map audit. So you can see run bin import map audit. Then it runs the lint, which is bin RuboCop. We've got RuboCop as one of the items within our build here, run RuboCop as a step within that build item. And then we've got test, which runs on and kind of does the setup, the setup and run the tests. It captures screenshots in the event of an error, which will yoink that. And then on ours, we've got the finish where you're going in and hitting Coveralls to get your coverage reported. So let's take a look at here, the scan Ruby. I'm just going to rename this job test on mine. I also like here, Ruby version is just .ruby version. So here I've got Ruby version at 3.4. That's just one less place that I need to change my Ruby version. So that makes me happy. We'll incorporate that. And we're just going to take this scan Ruby. Actually, we don't need the jobs parts, but we'll take scan Ruby, scan JS, and lint, and pretty much Control-C, Control-V them. This will not work yet until we install brakeman. So our next thing we're going to do is we're going to go into, leave that minimized. We'll go into our gem file and look at the gem file here. And we're going to add brakeman required false to the development and test group. We'll look at the other ones in the next video when we try to get kind of parity with things like thruster, Kamal, solid cache, queue and cable, all that other stuff. So we'll take a look at that in the next video. I think I'm fine though I will move this RuboCop suite to development and test. Take advantage of any convention over configuration that might help me here. All right, going to pull up my terminal and we're going to do a bundle install and we'll see if that gives us our bin stub that we need. It does not. I will just guess at this. Unrecognized command. So I'll take a look at the documentation and be back in a moment. So this issue here that I found on Rails gives kind of a hint as to how we can get this to work. So bin brakeman added to the added when you're doing a Rails app update, even if you don't have brakeman in the gem file. So it goes to reason that that was a bug adding it when it shouldn't. If you run Rails app update, then it will get you what you need. In addition to bin thruster will, I imagine, do the same type of thing. All the other kind of Rails 8 new features will likely follow that same type of pattern. And I could do that now. My guess is it's going to mess with files other than just adding that bin stub. So I'm going to kind of take a shortcut here. So we've got my two items here. I'm going to go and take brakeman from the generated version here. I'm going to Control-C it. I'm going to create a brakeman file in my bin directory here. Make sure that the permissions are aligned here. And they are not. So that looks like 755. And now it looks like it should work. And it does. No errors, no security warnings. So that part is taken care of. Let's get back to our comparing our YAML GitHub actions here. So we've got brakeman scan.js. Let's make sure that bin import map audit gives me what we need. No vulnerable packages found, so that's running, returning a code 0, and we'll pass our CI. Now we want to lint, that's our RuboCop here. That should still work. We did move it from one group to just the development group to the development and test group, so we'll just run it here and make sure that the -f GitHub doesn't do anything wonky here. Okay, that just kind of suppresses the output, it looks like, at least from standard output. And now we are finally to our run tests. Take a look kind of line by line here. Services. We do not have a Redis service, but we do have a Postgres service. All of that stuff stays the same here. Steps. We'll hit Control B to be able to see more of the screen here. So we've got install Postgres. Run RuboCop is not needed anymore because we've got it above. Set up database. That's still needed. We have the setup Ruby step here. We're gonna also delimit these steps so it's easier to see the separation. Here we go, set up database. See here, that looks identical. So run tests. We've got our environment stuff that stays the same. We will add in the keep screenshots step here. Make sure our indentation matches. Then we've got still our coveralls parallel, and then so the question is, okay, that's just a step in, we've renamed build to test, so this just needs test. And that should work. Runs on Ubuntu latest, and that should give us what we need. Go back to making this normal sized here, hit Control B to get our list of files back, close our saved files. We will take a look at our git status, git diff. These are all of the changes we just made. Do I not have the trailing white space? We're gonna look at our settings. Trim trailing, I clicked auto white space and not trailing white space. So that is an error in my, I just discovered from my end-to-end setup video where I set all these things up on my new computer. So when doing that in VS Code, let's make sure there's nothing. We'll hit give diff again and make sure that that white space is now gone. I think we're good there. We'll run in RuboCop. It's possible that I might run into issues with my gem file changes or whatnot, but we're good. Run a test all here. Don't expect anything to suddenly be broken given the changes that we've made. Git add, git commit, write my message. All right, I've got my commit message. I feel almost like Mr. Rogers, like time to feed the fish. I'm narrating the stuff as I'm doing it. Time to write the commit message. Anyway, we'll close this. And now for the moment of truth. Seeing as how this is all about the build of the GitHub action, we will wait with bated breath for the results of our GitHub action. Leave you quivering with anticipation. So our action has passed we'll compare it to our previous version here. So we had build just going to finish. Now we have kind of in parallel test going to finish. And you can see that the duration actually has gone down here. So 150, 158. I mean, that's variable enough that maybe that's not significant. Like that could just be a one-off type of deal. But the fact that these things do run in parallel might help us a bit. Everything looks good here. The other place to check would be to go into Coveralls and make sure that coverage still got reported roughly the same, considering we didn't change any application code, as the last commit on this branch. Grade Rails 8. We're at 72%, which I think is exactly the same amount as our previous one. So I think we can call this one a success. I will check off the GitHub action checkmark, and Lord willing and the creek don't rise, I think we've just got the one checkmark left, depending on, I mean, it's a lot of new features. So we're adding a Docker file, we're adding Kamal, prop shaft, thruster, kind of all these different things. So it's possible that it might go longer than one video, but here's to hoping that we're one video away from having this ready to go back into our main branch and kind of putting this upgrade gauntlet behind us. If you want to see how that goes, make sure to hit the subscribe button to make sure you get all the rest of our ongoing stateless code videos, not just for this series, but we've got a Ruby gem we work on and occasional setup and configuration videos. I do a little bit with Salesforce. So we'll thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Code along on an end-to-end journey through the creation, design, and development of a Ruby on Rails application for managing tabletop role-playing games. We start from Rails new and will guide you along the journey of the entire lifecycle of the application. You'll get to see real-life, real-world problems and challenges as we try to deliver value for our users. Visit statelesscode.com to level up. Thanks for watching this Stateless Codecast. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and spread the word. You can follow us on social media at Stateless Code. Until next time, keep coding and don't aggress against peaceful people or vote for others to do so on your behalf.
Hack the stateless code.
Nerd dice.